Today we found out that while parking rangers in Sydney don't have quotas, no, they don't have quotas, they do have targets. Get this, last financial year, City of Sydney alone made $33 million out of parking fines, and that's just $33 million out of the $222 million statewide in one financial year. That is extortionate. I don't know how we're not taking to the streets on this. Get this, the City of Sydney, once busted today, maintained that, quote, rangers do not have quotas, but admitted they do, quote, have targets with monthly productivity reports. So you mean to tell me that a ranger who keeps falling underneath their target, not quota, would keep their job? I wonder, because that's how we could really put this to the test. Few things make you angrier when you return to your car, you've got a fine, you're maybe 5 minutes over, you can test it, the state does not care. In this article today, there was a story about a woman who was helping a lady in labour. Her waters had broken. When she got back to her car, she had an over $600 parking fine because she'd parked in a disabled bay and wasn't disabled, but thought, heck, this woman needs help. I got to do what I got to do. The City of Sydney, even after all the proof was given to them, would not relent on the fine. And I got to say, that has been consistent with my experience here. Whoever deals with the fine discrepancies are absolutely heartless. And I mean that in the most visceral way. It's like a bot has to be replying to this because the case is bulletproof and all you care about is eking that money out of people who are already battling a cost of living crisis.
Well, the government set up in New South Wales, they called it a fairness scheme whereby, traffic offences could be tested, particularly ticketing for parking. And they found less than 1 in 1,000 cases brought before it was actually found to be, where they gave people some grace and let them off the ticket. With regards quotas, I've got mixed feelings about this. I can understand quotas for parking inspectors because otherwise you just find a shady tree and fall asleep for the day. So I get that they want people to be doing their job. The problem, of course, is if every person in Sydney obeys the parking instructions, then none of these guys meet their quotas, and then what's the consequence?
I'm sorry, look, if a parking inspector came in every day of the week and had issued no fines, I'm pretty sure we could assume he was sleeping under the tree or he was down at the pub. It wouldn't be hard to work that out.
Yeah, they don't need quotas.
But giving them what they call a target, which is a quota, and other former parking inspectors, not only at the Sydney City Council, people in Adelaide and other councils around the country have said the same thing. If they don't meet these targets, which are quotas, they get performance managed. They get called in and it's like, why aren't you issuing enough fines? Well, I'm sorry, sir, all the streets I was walking on, people were actually parking within the confines of the law. Clearly, this has become an important revenue raiser for the councils, and we know how much money they eke out of us through rates already. We know how much money they eke out of us through council-owned car parks. I'm not talking about on the street. They own big car parks in cities, ones that you drive into, multi-level ones. They make shitloads of money out of those things. But the point is not only to raise as much revenue as possible, it's to make it as difficult as possible to drive a car into the CBD because
another
they are
way of making it not worth it.
Because if you start getting these parking fines, people will go, well, I'm not bringing my car into the city.
Well, I couldn't believe this article. I had no idea in Sydney there's 143 variations of parking fines that you can be issued with, which is just incredible. But if you look at the statistics from, say, Liverpool, last financial year they issued 22,000 parking fines compared to just 13,000 the previous financial year. So clearly there's been some productivity increases there.
Yes, the not quotas, targets must have been increased.
But we've all had the experience, right, where you're coming to your car and you see the parking inspector get to your car just moments before you do, and so you say, oh, I'm so sorry, I just got here, but there's no leniency, and now we know why, because his job depends on it.
I can't even take it back. That is another way in which this is just daylight robbery, especially when you consider we've already paid for the roads. We've already paid. And
not if you own an electric vehicle.
Oh, well, yeah. Okay, fine. But we've already paid for all of this infrastructure. I think parking fines in and of themselves are just completely unjust and ought to be turfed because nobody's...
I'm with you.
Oh, I have a vote.
We should get rid of taxes and we should get rid of fines. We should give the government no money whatsoever.
No, because here's my thing, right? Speeding fines, everyone understands. You're putting people in danger. You're breaking the law. There are very serious consequences. It's meant to be a deterrent.
Not if you're like...
Yes, you are.
No, but if you're like 5 Ks over, you get done for like being 5 kilometres over.
What if
down a hill with a tailwind?
In order to maintain orderly roads, no one can be hooning around or driving unsafely. We get that. But parking, you were there for an extra hour. I mean, come off it. The way it's treated as a crime, and then the state can literally take the money out of your bank account without your say-so. They send you all these threatening, don't ask me how I know this, all these threatening letters like, we will literally just take it out of your bank account. We will deregister your car. We will take your license off you. You're like, oh my gosh, it's a parking fine. Get over yourselves. And while we're on this bureaucratic madness, I recently got pulled over and the copper was like, oh, your car isn't registered. And I was like, except that it is. And he's like, no, it's really not. And I contested this fine because I said, state, I'd paid it by then, obviously, but state, you never sent me anything. I never got the letter. How am I supposed to know my regi's due? Everyone relies on that reminder. And I get a text from the state even if I have an overdue parking fine. So I know you can get in touch with me when you want to. I got nothing from you. That's why I didn't pay it. And they're like, we don't care. It's up to you. Apparently, we're just supposed to burn it into the retinas of our eyes. Bring back those stickers that we used to have.
I'm laughing
where it's got the month, it's due, so you can't forget. Oh, no, now we're so progressive. We've got all this technology. Who has got that in their diary? We all live busy lives. Make sure you pay your rego.
Exactly the same thing happened to me. I got done for driving an unregistered car. I had no idea the rego had come through.
Okay, but here's my thing, Mac. Let's take this to court. We're getting a class action together. We need your help right in. Because who's to say that the state isn't doing that on purpose?
Oh, they probably are.
And then making a mint. Because the fine's over $700 for driving an unregistered car. And you're like, do I look like someone who's just driving an unregistered car, getting around giggling on a daily basis? Oh, the state doesn't know. No!
But if you look at revenue raising, I mean, I found out today you can be fined $283 for parking your car incorrectly in your own driveway.
I know. If you park too close to the letterbox and all sorts of stuff. I mean, it's just insane. Now might be the time to declare that I've never actually had a road fine of any... I've paid parking insurance.
You have no authority to speak to this issue, Caleb
I've never had a
Bond.
speeding fine or anything like that. Doesn't mean I haven't sped before.
That's disgusting. Move on.
I just do it in places where I don't get caught.
I'm not listening to
and
this.
coppers don't come after me for that. You'll have to find where I did it in the first place. Anyway, I'm glad Liz was able to have her rant about that. The situation, of course, that her friend has been through.
Oh, yes. Very good friend of mine.
Indeed, very good friend. Very, very close friend. Almost lives next door.